coaches, and players. Saturday at 3 Eastern, it's the Army-Navy game on College Sports Radio, Channel 84, and the Sirius XM app.
To listen to the Army-Navy game on Sirius XM, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
You deserve the best. With the Sirius XM Platinum VIP plan, you can unlock the ultimate listening experience in up to 2 cars and stream anywhere with 2 app logins. Enjoy our greatest content, opportunities for live VIP experiences, and prioritize customer care. Plus, get access to over 5,000 audio and video concert recordings through nugs.net. Call 844-711-8800 and become a VIP. Offer details apply. Not available in Canada.
The 124th Army-Navy game is on Sirius XM College Sports Radio, Channel 84. This is Chris Patola, West Point class of 2002. It's bigger than a game. It's a celebration of our history. It's a reminder of what makes this country great. Coverage from Boston begins Friday morning at 9 Eastern. Tune into College Sports Radio all week long for interviews with military leaders, coaches, and players. Saturday at 3 Eastern, it's the Army-Navy game on College Sports Radio, Channel 84, and the Sirius XM app.
Visit www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly and activate your radio. If you haven't subscribed to Sirius XM yet, you're missing out on over 140 channels of sports, news, talk, and entertainment, plus commercial-free music. Get play-by-play from your teams, your favorite music, commercial-free, and personalities like Howard Stern. No matter where you live, unlock it all now. Activate your radio by visiting www.SiriusXM.com/go to sign up online quickly or call 844-711-8800 now.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Sing along with modern holiday hits on Holly, Channel 79, or revisit Christmas Past with the nostalgic sound of holiday traditions on Channel 71. Listen now through Christmas Day and enjoy dozens of unique holiday channels anytime you want in the Sirius XM app.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you, as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. License number 018-14868.
Great things are happening on Sirius XM's Joel Osteen Radio.
Every day, you're blessing my life with these words of strength.
Inspiration 24/7.
God says He always causes you to triumph.
Just to hear you and your words of encouragement really helped me to get through those tough times.
I'm so grateful that you're on the radio.
I am so blessed by your messages.
To hear Joel Osteen Radio, activate your radio now. Call 844-711-8800 or go to SiriusXM.com/go to sign up quickly.
Grounded Deportes. Bonjour. Vidi vidi vici. Let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. My name is Jonathan of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, of the #1 network in the United States of America. Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me, and people who love the universe, and that would include you. What a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Won't you be my? Won't you be mine? Won't you be my neighbor? Shut up! You know, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. I keep telling people I was nominated to be the neighborhood watch spokesperson. Now there are people that they want to say, count all the votes! Because some people don't like when I try to bring the neighborhood together when it's 3 o'clock in the morning. But you don't have to worry what time you follow Big C Sports. You can follow 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. It is a beautiful December the 4th in 2023 in Demdale Hills. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on Google, Alexa, Spotify, Speaker Podcast, Apple Podcast, TuneIn Podcast, Good Pods Podcast, iHeartRadio Podcast, Castbox Podcast, Deezer Podcast, Podcast Addict, Pod Chosen. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast on Geo Savan out of London, England, as well as India and Africa. Podtail Podcast, YouTube, Hubhopper, Stitcher Podcast, Radio Line, Peapod Podcast, Luminary Podcast, Listen Notes, Podcast Wise, Podbig, Verbal Podcast, Podcast Policy, Podcast Republic. And there's one that used to scare me, but now it doesn't. It's nice to be wise. It is nice to be safe. But be careful when you see allfeeds.ai, the robots are trying to take over. I'm telling you, the robots are trying to take over. Almost, you can tell every time you start texting anyone on your cell phone, it starts filling in what you had texted the last time. You said it's got to be the shoes. You want to say that to everybody. You can also follow it's got to be the shoes. You can also follow Big C Sports Podcast streaming OTT on 4 TV podcast platforms all over the universe. Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV, and a lot of smart TVs all over the universe. Get that some praise, and hopefully soon Byron Loudon will carry Big C Sports. Hulu has Big C Sports. Hulu has live sports. How about Hulu has Big C Sports? And get that some praise. All is fair and level. A lot of great things coming for 2024. I tell you what I love doing with Big C Sports. I love paying homage to our Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced, helping veterans and their loved ones get help. If you know anybody going through issues, pick up the phone and call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give us some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. I know I need somebody to lean on. It is nice when somebody... What did Teddy Pendergrass say? He said it's so good leaning on somebody when somebody leaning back. That's not what he said. He said it's so good loving somebody when somebody loves you back. He want the real Teddy Pendergrass. Well, that's all you get right now. If that makes sense to you. But I love saying I want to thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports to the universe. Just like in Genesis 1:3, where God said, He said, reparations now, reparations forever. That's not what God said, Curry. But then He said, and then God said, let there be light. And light happens every day you breathe. Every day you take a breath, it's a miracle. Every day you take a breath, it's a miracle. Give miracles some praise. Sometimes people complaining about aches and pains or things that aren't going well in life. But everything that happens in life, the most important thing is that you keep breathing. Give breathing some praise. There's a time for everything. But we gotta keep giving breathing some praise. I want to say with Big C Sports Podcast, I always keep breathing, number one, but I always produce the show. Give that some praise. I mean, It's important because there was a time, no matter what I want to do now with Big C Sports Podcast, and I'm going to make Big C Sports Podcast a $1 billion company, and that's proven. But no matter what I do with Big C Sports, there was a time that I didn't even have a sports show. There was a time when things that I want to happen, they've taken a little, longer than I wanted them to take. But I still have a chance to do a sports show. There's some things that happened today that kind of slowed down, getting started a little bit late, but on time, if that makes sense to you, because I'm getting so busy. But it's a good thing. Give a good thing some praise. We all need some good things to happen in life. Number one, I always produce the show. Number two, I direct the topics. Number three, I broadcast all the shows. Number four, I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency we can all use in our lives. I know I can. Number five, the commercials are done. Number six, the staff provided. Number seven, the storytelling. What did I tell you? Up to the line of scrimmage. 4 wideouts, 5-man front by the Eagles. Purdy with the snap rolling to his right. He rolling. He throws downfield. It is caught. Caught for the touchdown by Deebo Samuels. Touchdown, Niners. I think I saw some birds fall out of the sky in Philadelphia. I mean, they had so many. I'm not a homer, even though I play one on TV. A lot of people, they forgot they paid for the whole game. They were leaving me. They said 4 minutes. This thing's already decided in 4 minutes. What did they say in Wrap the Con? I think it was one of the shows with it was what was it? It's what did it say? Oh, it was Top Gun. He said fire the backup crew. Backup crew. He said the backup crew would be there in 2 minutes. He said in 2 minutes this thing could be over in 30 seconds. Something like that. But you know what I mean? The play-by-play, I predicted the 49ers would cover the spread because I said they win by a touchdown. I didn't know they win by 4 touchdowns. Give that some praise. It wasn't 4 touchdowns, Curry. Okay, the Eagles got to back up, mop up the score. You go in there in Dimdale Hills, Philadelphia, and you beat them down like that, and Las Vegas had it a 3-point favorite. But Big C said they covered the spread. Give that some praise. Now they got a lot of stuff to get into. All fair, number one. Listen, let me tell you this. I upload this show to 29 podcast platforms and then 4 TV platforms. And then I never miss a show since creating Big C Sports. It's all fair and level war. I got so many things that I'm happy about. I know down in Texas, they're happy. Give it some praise. I was telling the good old boy from the South, he drank the SEC Kool-Aid. And he was telling me how I said Alabama's going to beat Georgia. How did Big C know? Give us a praise. Because Las Vegas told you good old boys. Las Vegas told you good old boys that Georgia would win. And I said, I don't see that happening. And I said Alabama would win. And they were 6-point underdogs. What a game that was. How you keep Georgia out of the national championship pitch. I'll get into it later. But they hadn't lost a game in 2 years. In 2 years. And the game they lost was by 3 points. How do you keep them out of the national championship? They had won the national championship the last 2 times. How you keep them out? I know you let me get into that later. Texas hadn't won a national championship since USC. They played USC in the Rose Bowl in 2005, and that game was Las Vegas special. Anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. But I just want to say I got so much to get into, but I always know where I come from. They say if you know where you come from, maybe you respect your root a little better. Got some NFL football tonight. The Jacksonville Jaguars and the Cincinnati Bengals. It's the Big C Burger. It's the Big C Burger, and it comes with what's all those exotic meats. It comes with 2 all-beef patties, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and some collard greens on a sesame seed bun. It must be the Big C Burger. I'm telling you, because the Jaguar and the Bengals. I don't eat lions. What are you talking about? I eat lions. Life is funny, man. I bought this juicer, and I don't know how it's gonna sit in my stomach later, but I put some watermelon in the juicer. I put some pineapple in the juicer. I put some beets in the juicer. I put some kale in the juicer. I put some lemon and lime in the juicer, and I feel like I got to go to the bathroom, but I don't have time to pause. Hold it. It's giving me a lot of energy because I'm trying to get this. I want to get this fat out of my stomach. I actually had 6% body fat at a time in my life when I was in my best shape. And obviously, I'm doing what I can to get my body back in tune with what it should be. And I'm cutting out a lot of junk food. But when you juice, and I even put some garlic in there. And I feel amazing. At the same time, I gotta use the bathroom. But I'm gonna hold it. You know how they tell you when you're on a train. No, most trains have a restroom. But if you get up to go and the door says occupied, you gotta hold it. Oh, friend level. Speaking of holding it, you don't want to hold this one. I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force because a mind is a terrible thing to waste, and we don't want to waste anybody's mind. But it's so important because reparations are on. Right now, reparations are on the decision board. I don't know why it takes so long to sign reparations. It didn't take this long to sign the crime bill. It didn't take it long to sign the crime bill. But they sure couldn't job over reparations. I want to thank the California Reparations Task Force, Camila Moore. She's the chair. She's brilliant. Really do appreciate her. Love giving her praise. I gotta get her on my show. I gotta also give praise to Dr. Amy C. Brown, the vice chair of the Reparations Task Force. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank the #1 senator of the United States of America, California Senator Stephen Bradford. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. He's also responsible for name, image, and likeness called NIL, which helps college athletes get paid in their name, image, and likeness. Also, he helps sponsor the Ebony Alert, which helps when young black children go missing. I got to give him praise. He is also part of the Reparations Task Force. Going to be meeting with him soon. Right now, playing email with his office and with the National Black Wall Street Project. I want to thank Councilmember Monica Montgomery Steppe. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I'm telling you, give her praise, praise, praise. And I want to thank Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer because he's brilliant. I love giving him praise. I want to thank Dr. Shell Grills. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise, part of the National Black Wall Street Project. I want to thank Attorney Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise, part of the National... I'm telling you, California Reparations Project is so important. I want to thank Dr. Devon Scott Lewis. He's brilliant. I want to give him praise. He's part of the California Reparations Task Force. I want to thank Attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant. He's also a part of the California Reparations Task Force. You got to give that some praise, man. Like me strike if you don't. Man, that juice is working. I want to thank This Is CNN, proud sponsor of Big C Sports. The source for Caitlin Collins, weeknight, 6 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to thank PNC Private Bank, proud sponsor of the Big C Sports Podcast. I want $6 billion! And I want it now. I also want to thank Double O. She's part of the PAC Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project. She's the one that sent me Executive Order 13985. It's President Biden's first day in office on further advancing racial equity and support for underserved communities through the federal government. That's the White House! Really do appreciate her. Also want to thank Double O. She sent me information on the United Nations. The United Nations, back in September, they issued an order to say that strong leadership and political will are crucial to ensure reparatory justice for people of African descent. You got to give that some praise because everybody's pushing for reparations, and all it takes is the same hand that signed the crime bill. Come on, President Joe Biden, you gotta see this. You gotta clear the fog. You can see it right now. It's like teams right now lining up to play football and basketball. You gotta see, how do you score points? Well, in football, you gotta cross the goal line, or you gotta kick a field goal. In basketball, you gotta put it in the bucket. Well, how do you get re-election? You get re-elected by doing what President Abraham Lincoln said. What did President Abraham Lincoln tell us? He says sign reparations now, reparations forever, and then you get reelected. It's not that complicated. It don't matter how many, it don't matter how many stumps and speeches you go on. You want to get reelected? Sign reparations, and you'll get the praise. To me, it's easy. I want to thank Georgetown University because of the university back in September. They pledged over $1 billion to descendants of chattel slavery, 272 families that helped build Georgetown University. And I'm impressed by it. I just appreciate so many things that are going on in this country. I want to thank This is T-Mobile, proud sponsors of Big C Sports. And T-Mobile is America's largest 5G network. And they sponsor Big C Sports on my platform, Australian Level Work. I want to get into something before I even get into this show. I want to start saying this because sometimes when people get money, they want to know, well, what do I do? What do I do with all this money? They want to know what do they do with their money. And instead of pretending that you don't know what to do with it, I want to talk about what Congress did back in the day. They gave freedmen a place to put their money because America was so anti-black, anti-beautiful and black. The banks did not want money from black Americans once the Emancipation Proclamation happened, once they were freed. So the Congress, the same Congress that's deciding whether we get reparations now, and 172 co-sponsors of H.R. 40 put together by Representative Sheila Jackson Lee, they're pro-reparations. So Freedmen's Bank, Freedmen's Bank, like Bank of America. Freedmen's Bank, chartered by the United States Congress in March of 1865. Every college and high school person should know this, even laymen. It provided a quote-unquote place for former slaves to quote-unquote safely put their money. The same kind of bank that you have when you're getting ready to go Christmas shopping and celebrating the birth of Christ, for Christmas. Now they've turned it into a holiday. So now we got to find a way to go to the malls and go online and spend money, to celebrate the birth of Christ. But now they make it for shopping. But when you put your money in a bank, you expect the money to be there. If you have $1 billion in the bank, well, you can't just put it in the bank because they only insure FDIC to $250,000. But think about this. The bank collapsed in 1874. Imagine what that did. The bank's failure not only robbed African Americans of their savings, but also had a severe psychological impact, causing them to give up hopes and dreams that went along with their savings, and bringing about a general distrust of financial institutions that Congress put together. It has to make sense to us, because when people are out of money, they got to figure out how do they get more money. Well, if you have some money, you put it in the bank. So the need for a bank for free black Americans became evident during the American Civil War. And the Union won the war because black soldiers joined the Union. African American soldiers in the Union Army, who were often denied access to conventional banks, were often taken advantage of by swindlers. You got to understand that. And you know what the United States did? In March, it's so important. March 3rd, 1865, Congress incorporated Freedmen's Savings and Trust Company as a non-profit financial institution. Listen up, President Biden. President Abraham Lincoln immediately signed the bill into law. He didn't have a task force. He immediately did it. And according to the charter of the Freedmen's Bank, the money deposited was to be invested in stocks and bonds, treasury notes, or other securities for the United States. Unlike a conventional bank, Freedmen's Bank was forbidden to make loans. They wouldn't let you make loans to black Americans. Oh, we don't need no reparations. It's all fair and square. We don't need no affirmative action. Everything's equal now. Even the first bank that the Congress made for black Americans, You were forbidden. Forbidden means you were not allowed to. You were told no! They could not make loans. They could not make loans! They would not make loans to black Americans. But traditional banks made loans to white Americans. Congress set it up! Couldn't buy a house, couldn't start a business. They sucked the money in, and they had a board of 50 white trustees that were named to manage the bank's affairs. And they stole the money! And Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell says, I don't believe we need to pay reparations for something that happened over 150 years ago. We stole that money! And with all that crap, they're still debating whether they pay black Americans, African Americans, descendants of chattel slavery reparations. You gotta look at how wrong that is. What if you put your money in a bank today and you're a white person and the bank says, thanks for depositing all of your money, but we're not gonna make you a loan. And that's why I'm so passionate about reparations. You gotta give me some praise. You won't hear that on any other show. And before I even get into the reparations, I'm telling you, I know a lot of people are hurting in business right now. And I'm not going to be someone that acts as if it's not true. I know most people are shopping. They're shopping with credit cards because they don't have the money in the bank. They're using credit cards. They use credit cards because they don't have the money in the bank. And I know people in real estate, I see more and more real estate offices that are closed. Or it says for lease. If you are looking for work in all 50 states, write this number down. 800-772-8624. That's 800-772-8624. I said 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. And tell them Big C sent you. Because I'm looking to help real estate agents, real estate brokers, insurance brokers get work. What did Jerry Maguire say in the movie Top Gun? He said, "Show me the money." Curry, that wasn't Top Gun. Which one? What it was? It was called Jerry Maguire. But you know the point. Some people always want to correct you when you do something wrong. I can say 1,000,000 words. I say all of them right. I say one wrong word. Somebody say, "Hey, Curry, you know you said the wrong word." The point is, if you're looking for work, if you understand the real estate, mortgage industry, we have a business loan alternative to help companies get money. The items you need to qualify: 4 months bank statements. Write that down. If the business brings in $5,000 minimum monthly revenue, write that down. And if they've been in business 6 months, write it down. You know how many people have been pulled for their tax returns, 2 years tax returns? They want the last 4 pay stubs. They want to know what property you want your loan tied to. They want to know all kind of your profit and loss statements. They want all your garbage. They want to trigger a 4506 to the IRS. But we specialize in business funding. We specialize in unsecured working capital. If a lot of businesses don't have the money, they're going to have to close their doors. We lend up to $5 million. No collateral. We have early payoff discounts. We can fund in as little as a day. Now people say, well, why would I do that? Because you need some gap funding. If you wait around for the banks to come back and make loans easy, keep doing it. It may take a long time. Many people we help, they say, thank you, Big C. I didn't know what I was going to do. Now, if you're sitting on your butt and you don't ask people if they need help, then that's your fault. All you got to do is ask 10 people. Out of 10 people, 2 are they're going to need the money. Probably in this economy, probably 5 out of 10. But if you don't ask anybody, you wait for them to knock on your door, you're probably not going to succeed. I tell you, I'm going to bring in 1,000 brokers in the next 12 months. And I'm already I'm just going to say I'm going to bring in 1,000 brokers to work with the Big C team and getting people back to work. You got to give that some praise. You don't hear that on other sports shows. All they tell you is when I played. But I'm telling you, for business people, it's there. It's right there for you. Well, that's my story, and I'm sticking with it. If I don't get into my family legacy, I might forget it. I want to thank my family legacy because that's why I'm here on my beautiful mother's side. My great-grandmother called her mama, a beautiful, loving, kind woman. My great-granddaddy called him Pop, former military man. The real MacGyver can fix anything. Really appreciate them. And then my grandmother, Mud Deer, beautiful, loving, kind woman. Really do appreciate her. She was a seer. She could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then my grandfather, Hezekiah, another wonderful person. A seer could oftentimes look at a person and tell you a lot about their past, their present, and their future. And then I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. Started a Head Start program, a food program, and also coached some all boys and Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. And then the best person I ever met in my life. Always saying rise and shine. Never met anybody like my mama. And then love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. On my father's side, my grandfather, called him Albert Curry. He was a pastor, had 2 churches in Oakland, built the 3rd one in Central California, but he also owned 2 gas stations in Oakland, one on Bancroft, the other on Foothill. And then he owned 40 acres of land, like the Emancipation Proclamation, when Frederick Douglass was working with the President Abraham Lincoln to craft the Emancipation Proclamation, and every free black person was supposed to get 40 acres and a mule. And now his grandson is trying to help over 1,000 people get work by helping business owners get money. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. 800-772-8624. Make the call! And tell them Big C sent you. In all 50 states, no matter what you're doing, everybody can use more money. Work with the Big C team if that makes sense to you. And then I want to tell you, my grandmother, when I was 8 years old, walking through a hallway, it's all coming together now. I was going to the hallway. I felt someone touch me on my forehead. And she said, "Excuse me, young man, are you going to get some more cookies?" I said, what are you doing, Grandma? It's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. She said, "What are you doing, young man? Going to get some more cookies?" I said, "Cookies are baby crap. What I'm doing, Grandma, I'm going to get my reparations." You know, she said there's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak. And now I'm on 29 podcast platforms, streaming on 4 TV platforms. And I'm going to be the first sports broadcaster in the universe to announce reparations. Unlike most people that would do it on the news, I'm doing it before. I just really appreciate how she sewed into me. And then my beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that planes can fly so we can all stay safe at night. Always saying develop your mind to its highest extent. My beautiful brother Todd, love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. Always saying go forward. Love Todd with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. Going to be a millionaire because her daddy's going to champion what President Biden's going to do, and that's sign reparations. She's graduated with honors, 2 degrees in 3.5 years from a major university. She's the first one to set up an interview for Big C Sports Podcast. She also will help me set up when college coaches came to the West Coast to do work with Big C Sports. And now she's going to be a millionaire when reparations happens because of her father. You can be anything you want to be. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. You can be anything you want to be, but stay away from mean people. Never let anyone separate you from your family. a lot of society, mostly white people, they want to separate black fathers from their children. And the black child knows it. It happened to me when I was growing up. But don't let that happen. They won't separate you from people who look like them. Just know that. And ask God if I'm telling you the truth. You can be anything you want to be. I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Never ever let anyone divide you from your family, if that makes sense to you. Watch Malcolm X the first 5 minutes and tell me if I'm wrong. You can be anything you want to be. And love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. Very smart, erudite, a good man. Senior in college, very smart. You can be anything you want to be. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Malcolm, I'm telling you, he helped me save trees. I used to always get the newspaper to look up stats on Big C Sports Podcast. And one day, Malcolm, he said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went off. I've been Googling ever since. And now I'm on over 29 podcast platforms and streaming on 4 TV platforms. One day, Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show pop up. That's before it was even on the air. And shortly after that, you can find it on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. He spoke it into existence. You can be anything you want to be, Malcolm. Like I tell you, Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon formed against you will prosper. Most times in life, society, especially white society, they try to divide black children from their fathers. You know I'm telling you the truth. Watch Malcolm X the first 5 minutes and tell me if I'm wrong. Never let that happen to you. Never, ever let that happen to you. But they want you sitting around people who don't look like you. Don't fall for that garbage. And they always do it behind black people's backs. I've seen it in banking. I've seen it in real estate. I've even seen it in medical reports. I've seen it in law. I just told everybody how Congress, they set up, called Freedmen's Bank in 1865, for black Americans to put the money in banks because the white banks wouldn't lend to black people. But even Congress said, you cannot make a loan. They kept that money for white people. And then they stole it. And they've been trying to do that to black people ever since. Don't let it happen to you. And then Big C with all that wealth of knowledge. Oh, Malcolm, I love you with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Google everything I tell you. And then Big C, all that wealth of knowledge over the years, like my great-granddaddy coming out of that barn, said you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. Say, let's get ready to rumble. I know said it. Man, welcome to the show. This vitamin drink with this juice was amazing. But I still gotta use the bathroom. You wanna hold it, hold it. I gotta hold it. You know, I gotta say this because my show is different. I love being whatever the spirit leads me to be. My show's not scripted. I have no producers. I have no directors. I have no teleprompters. There's nobody with a plug in my ear telling me what to say. I speak with my higher self. I focus on what I want to talk about, and I focus on it, and I do it. I want to thank NBC News for paying homage to Big C Sports, along with the Associated Press. NBC News, you can Google it. It says California Reparations, March 30, 2023. Charlton Curry of Dimder Hills, California, who discusses reparations on his Big C Sports podcast. That cash payments are necessary. And that's going to be sent to the White House. President Joe Biden with a letter from the National Black Wall Street Project, and it's going to quote what NBC News said. CBS News said the same thing. Janie Har, the Associated Press, said the same thing. I got a call from her after a reparations rally, and ring, hello. Hey, is this Charlton? Yes, this is Charlton. How can I help you? Hi, this is Janie Har, the Associated Press. I said, how'd you get my number? She said, we have our ways. I said, okay, how can I help him? She said, I said, what made you call me? She said, I heard you speak at a reparations rally task force. There's about 500 people, but only about 200 spoke. And I said, okay, well, how can I help you? She said, I want to get your thoughts on reparations. I said, if you heard me speak, you know my thoughts. I said, what President Abraham Lincoln said. I said, reparations now, reparations forever. And that's been been picked up by NBC News, CBS News. You can't get much bigger than the Associated Press. So whatever I say, I just ask God to expand my horizons. You can't please everybody, and I'm not trying to, but I really do appreciate that. But now, be that as it may, I want to get into some sports because there's a lot of stuff that went on over the weekend. We got Monday Night Football tonight, and we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're taking on the Cincinnati Bengals, and Jacksonville's ascending, and Cincinnati is not, if that makes sense to you. So it's week 13. The season wraps up with Monday Night Football. Cincinnati's only 5-6. They're on the road to face the Jacksonville Jaguars at 8-3, and it's amazing how things go. When you think about what people think about this game, the game's already underway. The Jaguars are a 9.5-point favorite. The over-under is 39. And the Jaguars, they've gotten off to a couple of big wins of the past 8 games. They only lost with the 49ers later. And then Joe Burrow is banged up he's out for the rest of the season. And the Bengals are just 26 overall and DVOA, including 29th against the run. They're not going to hold up very well tonight against Jacksonville. I like the Jacksonville Jaguars. They have really regrouped after being beaten down by the 49ers. It don't look so bad after seeing what the Niners did in Denver Hills, Pennsylvania, where the Eagles fans, which are supposed to be among the best in football, they were leaving with 5 minutes left in the game. You're supposed to take the butt whipping standing up. They were laying down. All's fair in love and war, but I got to tell you, I'm just going to get into some things with NFL football that I love. Week 13, it's amazing. The season's almost over. It's almost over. It doesn't make any sense. I love the game so much. It's not a perfect game. But the Eagles, they were beaten severely by the 49ers. It's the largest loss they've ever taken since quarterback touchdown Jalen Hurts became a starter. And it was not his fault. They just had no answer for it. But I'm going to say Arizona 24-10 over the Steelers. And the Cardinals dominated in all 3 phases while picking up their first road win in over a year. Arizona's big success was that it dominated on third down and in the red zone, and they were 10 of 17 on third down compared to Pittsburgh being 4 of 11. All fair level. I was not expecting that type of beatdown by the Steelers. Indianapolis coached 31-28 in overtime over Tennessee, and the Colts' decision to sign Gardner Minshew out of Washington State back in March continues to look like one of the smartest moves they made in the offseason. He was 312 yards and 2 scores, including a game-winning 4-yard touchdown pass in overtime to Michael Pittman Jr. And the Colts had a total of 3 receivers who got at least 70 yards because he was spinning that ball and putting it in the right hands of his receivers. Tennessee suffered possibly the worst special teams meltdown by any NFL team this season, and it could cost them even a spot in the playoffs if they even have those admirations. LA Chargers, I thought it was a baseball game. LA Chargers 6, New England Patriots nothing. Isn't that something? The Chargers, they figured out how to fix their defensive problems. All you got to do is schedule to play the Patriots. And the Chargers pitched their first shutout since 2014. A big reason they were able to do that is because they harassed Bailey Zappi and the New England Patriots, who are playing for a first-round draft pick next year. The Patriots' offense was bad with Mac Jones, and sometimes it got even worse with Bailey Zappi. They need some clam chowder in New England, and they need it fast. They need it real fast. Atlanta 13, the New York Jets 8. What a game. No one wanted to score. On a day where the offense was mostly non-existent, the defense did most of the dirty work for the Dirty Birds from the South. And the defense forced 3 turnovers, including a fumble recovered by D. Alford in the second quarter that set up Atlanta's only touchdown. And they didn't play with a lot of inspiration, but the defense played solid. The Jets defense played well. They played well enough to win, but the offensive side of the ball, they just did not. The defense recorded a safety while limiting the Falcons to 195 yards, including just 87 in the second half. But these teams left their offenses at home, if that makes sense to you. Miami 45, the Washington Commanders 15. Looking like we might be looking at a Miami versus San Francisco Super Bowl. And Tyreek Hill continues to be the most unstoppable receiver in the NFL. The Dolphins got out to a 31-7 halftime lead, and they started playing like the no-name defense that went undefeated in 1972. All fair 11 war. I'm telling you, Hill caught 2 touchdown passes. He had 5 catches, 157 yards. And as good as they are, they still have work to do to improve. That was a big beatdown win. Not as decisive as the 49ers 42-19 win over supposedly the number 1 seed, All's friend of war. Houston, we have liftoff 22-17 over Denver. The Broncos only losing on the road by 5 despite losing all-pro cornerback Patrick Surtain II. Really do need him to be just, obviously they lost him, All's friend of war. But you got to look at the defense. They did a good job on C.J. Stroud. They sacked him 5 times. 5 times and you don't win because Houston's legit under D'Amico Ryans. For Houston, the defense played at an A level. They intercepted Broncos quarterback Russell Wilson 3 times, including a game-sealing play by safety Jamie Ward with 16 seconds left. Houston's going to make the playoffs this year. And D'Amico Ryans had a hard time getting a head coaching job. And in his second year, they're going to make the playoffs. Detroit 33-28 over. Who that say? They're going to beat them Saints. Well, a lot of people are saying they're going to beat the Saints now. And they got a 33-28 win over New Orleans. Detroit jumped out to a 21-0 lead before the Saints started marching in and even picked up the first down. The defense allowed a 21-3 run, which made things a little bit close, 800 gambler. But the Lions, their offense looked dynamite. What did the good old boy say? What did JJ say in the movie Top Gun? He said, dynamite! That wasn't Top Gun, Curry. That was good times. Okay. Well, so I got my shows wrong. At the same time, the Saints, you got to credit the Saints for coming back from down 21-0 in the first quarter, especially for the prop bettors. It seemed as though when you consider how much Derek Carr was being booed in the first half, it would have been interesting to see what he could have done had he not been injured in the fourth quarter. Jameis Winston couldn't lead a game-winning drive, but that's the way the ball bounces. 3 straight losses for the Saints. Who that say they're going to beat them Saints? Everybody lately. All's friend of war. Tampa Bay 21, Carolina 18. The firing of head coach sometimes can lead to a spark in an NFL team, but that did not happen to be the case for the Panthers in this game. In their first game since firing Frank Wright, I thought they should have waited till the end of the season. The Panthers' offense did not show any improvement, especially during the first half. And you're playing against this veteran team in the Buccaneers. The Buccaneers' offense struggled at times this year, but in this game, they found a secret play that worked. Throw the ball to Mike Evans! Throw the ball to Mike Evans. The star had a great game, catching 7 passes, 162 yards, and a 75-yard touchdown in the third quarter. You got to throw the ball to Mike Evans. Throw the ball to Mike Evans, and things tend to work out. All's friend aboard. The L.A. Rams, 39. Cleveland, this is not for you. Cleveland Browns 19, less than 2 weeks after signing touchdown Joe Flacco. The Browns were forced to start him on Sunday, and he actually held his own. He was not perfect, but he played far better than anyone could have thought after he spent the first 11 weeks sitting on the bench at his home couch, if that makes sense to you. But he threw for 254 yards and 2 touchdown passes. You got to give him some credit for that. The Rams, they look like one of the hottest teams in the NFC, and I think touchdown Matt Stafford's starting to get his groove. They decided that they were going to throw the ball in the air, and they beat that Browns defense for 279 yards and 3 touchdowns. The great Max Stafford. Puka Nuka once again played like the rookie sensation that he is. He caught 4 passes, 139 yards. All's fair, another war. The Rams, I'm telling you, they're now 6-6, and they're right now in the wild card playoff race. You got to give the Rams some credit for not giving up. And now, what did I tell you? There's gold in them their heels. The 49ers 42. The Eagles, it's a bird. It's a plane. No, the Eagles scored 19 at home. I was telling you it was going to happen. That red wave, it was like the red wedding. The red wave from the West Coast called the San Francisco 49ers. They blew the doors off the Eagles in their own house. They scored 6 straight possessions, and they ran 47 plays, 452 yards. And they got 42 points on the road. They won by 23 points. They won by more than the Eagles scored. It was a complete domination of what people were expecting. Again, they came in a 3-point favorite by Las Vegas. But Big C told you the Niners would cover, didn't he? Yeah. You would think I would have the $1 billion payroll the way they do down in Vegas. All fair enough and work. I got to tell you, there's something about this Niner team. I picked them to go to the Super Bowl this year, and I think they will. Deebo Samuel is a stud. He backed up all the talk with his touchdowns, and Brock Purdy finished with 4 touchdown passes of his own 148.8 passer rating. The 49ers defense played like they were the fistful of gold with 5 championships. In the defense, they're looking for number 6 this year, but they held one of the best offenses in the NFL to under 20 points. And when they have Deebo Samuels, Trent Williams, and Christian McCaffrey playing, they don't lose. They're getting better now. The Eagles still have the best record in football for now, but they're far from the best team in the NFL, and people know that. The 49ers defense allowed touchdowns on 6 straight possessions. Think about that. It's amazing. They had 5 missed tackles, 2 of which came on 49 touchdowns. Although it seemed like a lot more in the box score, Deebo Samuels breaks tackles. I know it counts as a touchdown pass by Brock Purdy, and it should. But when Deebo takes a 15-yard pass and races 50 yards to the end zone, you gotta give him the credit for that too, like Jerry Rice yards after the catch. What happened with Green Bay? 27-19 over Kansas City. The Chiefs struggled on both sides of the ball, and they coughed up a chance to retain the number 1 seed in the AFC. I'm telling you, Miami's going to the Super Bowl, and they'll play the 49ers. That's my opinion. And now the injuries didn't help, but the offense was simply not good enough. Touchdown Patrick Mahomes. He just couldn't pull a rabbit out of his hat this time. Maybe they're making too many TV commercials. Jordan Love out of Liberty High School in Bakersfield, California, and Utah State. And the team's young receivers, they were electric. Love went 25 of 36, 267 yards, and 3 touchdowns. You got to give them credit because they earned it, and everybody knows they earned it, and they got the win. Dallas 41, Seattle 35. That happened last Thursday Night Football. Give that some praise. That's Big C's thoughts on NFL. I got just one side note. When I look at what happened with the 49ers players, you got to realize the Eagles and 49ers sideline incident, much ado about nothing, but they're expected to look into the sideline incident from Sunday. Is the Eagles' chief secretary, the security officer, his name is Dom DeSandro, and 49ers linebacker Dre Greenlaw. They had a little fisticuff, but both guys were wrong, but especially the security guard, you should not be able to touch an athlete on the field. Now, if Ken Law went into the sideline on the benches and threw a punch at the security guy, I can say, yeah, he's totally wrong. But this guy came up on the playing surface, and you cannot allow that. And Ken Law should not be, he got kicked out of the game. It didn't cost the Niners overall, but he should not be fined. He was doing it in his own territory. If you go into the cage of a lion, then you don't blame the lion for biting somebody. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking with it. And you can give that some praise. I want to close out today with something that's so intriguing. I may want to give it even more time tomorrow. But college football, we have the stage set in the Rose Bowl. We will have Alabama and Michigan. In the Sugar Bowl, we will have Washington and Texas. I would have thought the Pac-12 could have had, the Rose Bowl could have been the last time we have a Pac-12 champion. Could have been in Washington hosting the Rose Bowl, which is where they played when they won the last national championship. But be that as it may, championship weekend is come and gone. After Washington's 34-31 win over Oregon Friday in the Pac-12 title game, I was wrong. I thought Oregon would beat them. That's my fault. I ate a little bit of crow, or as they say, I ate a little bit of duck. But the Huskies tend to eat ducks when you go into a Huskies cage. So congratulations to Washington. They haven't been 12-0 since the late Donnie James coached them to a national championship in 1991, where they beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl, all strand level. Alabama, they delivered the biggest results of the day, holding on to win the SEC title game. And I picked Alabama to beat Georgia. And they snapped Georgia's 29-game winning streak dating back to 2021. The last team that beat them was Alabama. And Alabama gets rewarded to play in the national championship playoffs. We need 12 teams. I know they may go to 8 next year, whatever it is. And then Texas. I was telling a good old boy from down south that if Texas win the Big 12, they got all that oil money. They're going to get in over a team that would lose in the SEC championship. But I thought that Georgia would have gotten in somehow, because you got a team that won 29 in a row. They're the 2-time defending national champion, and they lose by 3 points to a team And Alabama's amazing. And you're going to tell me there's teams in the country? You can't find 4 teams in the country that are better than Georgia. That's my opinion. But my opinion, it don't count. But Texas is happy because they should not be robbed if they're a Big 12 champion. Robbed! Well, let me tell you, they beat Oklahoma State 49-21. Now, when you think about Florida State, they took care of business. They beat Louisville. They squeaked by Louisville. And they finished the season undefeated. And they got robbed! They won 16-6. They won the ACC championship. And the bowl committee said, we're going to take a SEC team with 1 loss, and that's in Alabama, and put them in over an undefeated Florida State team. Michigan's undefeated. Washington's undefeated. Alabama and Texas, they both have 1 loss. Texas lost to Oklahoma. Alabama lost to Texas. Florida State didn't lose to anybody. But I think they got it right. Florida State is not at the same level. I know they won the ACC. I know they finished undefeated. But you can't tell anybody in the country that Florida State is better than Washington or Michigan or Texas or Alabama, and they're not better than Georgia. And I don't know if they set the bowls yet, but let Georgia play Florida State in the Orange Bowl, and they can fight it out for who should have gotten in. But I think Georgia would smoke Florida State, probably 35-14, somewhere in there. You only scored 16 points against Louisville. You're not going to score 16 against Georgia. 35-14, Georgia. I think Georgia would smoke Florida State. So I don't think Florida State should have gotten in. But I can kind of feel bad for the team that went undefeated. Well, that happens when you don't play the strongest schedule. I mean, they struggled to come from behind against teams they should have been able to blow out, and they didn't do it. So the argument that this is the final time we have only 4 teams playing for the BCS. And when you look at the fact that Michigan is a household name, they will travel. And then Alabama is a household name, they will travel. But for me, I know they already have the bowl game set and who's going to play where, but this is where you got to have some common sense. I thought, just for fan ability, if Michigan's going to play Alabama, why not move them to the Sugar Bowl in New Orleans? Why New Orleans, Curry? Because the fans that love Alabama and Michigan, it's a lot closer for Michigan to fly down to New Orleans. It's a lot closer for the fans in Alabama to get to New Orleans. But you're going to send fans from Alabama out to the Rose Bowl, as well as Michigan. That's where they like to go when they used to win the Big Ten and go out to play the Rose Bowl champion, Pac-12 champion. So go out to the Rose Bowl makes sense for Michigan. But the fans to get there, it's an easier trip if they had Alabama and Michigan meet in New Orleans. It's an easier trip to have Washington fly down to to Pasadena and play at the Rose Bowl, even for fans that want to make that trip, because you have fans that would follow Washington that are all on the West Coast. And then Texas, last time they won a national championship, it was at the Rose Bowl. That would have been a great setting. Washington and Texas played at the Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl is a site that Washington won their last national championship against Michigan, and where Texas won their last national championship against USC. Why not let them play there? It makes so much sense geographically. And then Michigan and Alabama, they tussled down in New Orleans. But that's not the way they did it. You got Washington going to the Sugar Bowl to play Texas. It's easy for the Texas fans to get that trip than it is for Washington to fly across the country down to the South. My opinion on those games, I think Alabama's going to beat Michigan in the Rose Bowl. And I gotta look at what's going on with Washington and Texas in the Sugar Bowl. But I got a feeling that Texas is going to win that game, because it's in the South, where sometimes they do a lot of home cooking in the South. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. If you like basketball, there's nothing wrong with that. We'll talk about that next time. Well, as I always tell you, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. If you go to drink, don't drive. If you go to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad, and fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You can call Uber, you can call Lyft, you can walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let someone you love get behind the wheel of a car when they've been drinking and driving. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. Well, you know what time it is. Back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Joe Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali say, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beat because listening to Big C Sports makes me want to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. And that's why I rumble, young man, rumble. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. My beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that garbage on their own. If you know any man, woman, or child going through that garbage, pick up the phone and call 911. Because no man, woman, or child should ever have to go to that garbage. And things change. People change when the police show up. What did George Bush say? He said, hit me once, shame on you. He said, you're not going to hit me again. No man, woman, or child should ever have to put up that crap. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, now we honor President Abraham Lincoln the same way you would stand up for the kickoff. He said, when I follow Big C Sports, I thank you. I appreciate you. I hope that you have a super fantastic day. And now we honor President Abraham Lincoln when he said, come on, Congress and Joe Biden. President Biden, he said, reparations now. Reparations forever. Come on, Big C, you can do better than that. Okay. Well, President Abraham Lincoln, what did you say you wanted for Christmas of 2023? He said, tell President Joe Biden to sign reparations now. Reparations forever. Come on, y'all. You can say it. I heard you guys screaming when your team won the game. What do we all want for Christmas of 2023? Come on, Congress. Say reparations now. Reparations forever. I thank you. I appreciate you. And I hope that you have a super fantastic day.